Burnout is often misdiagnosed. The label sounds reasonable. The explanation feels protective. But the core issue is different. Burnout implies depletion. Undisciplined creates chaos. Chaos drains energy faster than effort. Most people are not exhausted from work. They are exhausted from inconsistency. Inconsistent schedules tax attention. Inconsistent standards force negotiation. Negotiation consumes energy. Discipline removes negotiation. Removal stabilizes output. When output stabilizes, strain decreases. Burnout is associated with overload. Overload is not the primary driver. The primary driver is disorder. Disorder multiplies decisions. Decisions multiply friction. Friction accelerates fatigue. Discipline compresses decisions. Compression reduces friction. Reduced friction preserves capacity. This is mechanical, not psychological. Burnout narratives focus on rest. Rest does not correct disorder. Rest pauses the problem. It does not resolve it. Without discipline, rest becomes delay. Delay increases pressure. Pressure returns as fatigue. The cycle repeats. When discipline is present, effort is contained. Contained effort is sustainable. Sustainability is quiet. It lacks drama. It lacks sympathy. That is why it is resisted. Burnout feels legitimate. Undisciplined feels personal. The system prefers legitimacy, but the system responds to structure. Structure determines load. When structure is absent, load becomes unpredictable. Unpredictable load feels overwhelming. That feeling is labeled burnout. The label is convenient. The cause remains. That is the core rule.
This problem goes unnoticed because burnout is socially acceptable. Undisciplined is not. Burnout suggests effort. It suggests commitment. It suggests responsibility. Undisciplined suggests mismanagement. Mismanagement feels avoidable. Most people prefer explanations that preserve identity. Burnout does that. The pattern is consistent. When performance drops, fatigue is blamed. When focus weakens, stress is blamed. When momentum collapses, workload is blamed. These explanations feel external. They reduce accountability. Undiscipline operates internally. It requires self-examination. That examination is avoided. Another factor hides the issue. Undiscipline does not fail immediately. It fails gradually. Irregular schedules still produce output. Low standards still allow progress for a time. Because collapse is delayed, the cause is obscured. Effort increases to compensate. Compensation increases strain. Strain is then labeled burnout. The original disorder remains untouched. There is also confusion between effort and structure. Most people assume working harder corrects instability. Hard work cannot stabilize a disordered system. It increases load on an unstable frame. The frame bends. Fatigue appears. Burnout is diagnosed. The diagnosis feels accurate because symptoms match: low energy, low motivation, reduced tolerance. But symptoms do not identify cause. Another reason the problem persists is cultural. Burnout is discussed openly. Undiscipline is reframed. Inconsistency becomes flexibility. Lack of standards becomes self-care. Language protects behavior. Protection prevents correction. When discipline is absent, capacity is misused. Energy is spent reacting instead of executing. Reaction is expensive. Execution is efficient. Because reaction feels busy, it is mistaken for effort. Effort without structure drains quickly. The drain feels real. The explanation is misplaced. Burnout is visible. Undiscipline is subtle. What is visible is treated. What is subtle is ignored. The system continues unchanged. That is why the problem remains unnoticed.
The misunderstanding is persistent. People believe burnout comes from doing too much. They believe relief comes from doing less. That belief is incomplete. It is not volume that breaks capacity. It is volatility. Consistent effort is tolerable. Inconsistent effort is expensive. Most people confuse discipline with intensity. They assume discipline requires constant pressure. It does not. It is not extreme effort. It is controlled effort. Another misunderstanding follows. People believe discipline restricts freedom. They assume structure creates stress. It is the opposite. Lack of structure forces constant choice. Choice creates friction. Friction drains energy. Discipline removes choice. Removal reduces friction. Reduced friction preserves energy. Burnout is also confused with rest deprivation. Rest is treated as the solution. Rest without discipline restores nothing. It resets the same unstable pattern. When activity resumes, disorder returns, fatigue follows, the cycle repeats. People also believe motivation compensates for weak discipline. They expect energy to override structure. Energy cannot replace structure. It amplifies whatever structure exists. If the system is disordered, energy increases chaos. Chaos accelerates fatigue. Another error reinforces the confusion. People assume discipline means rigidity. They associate rigidity with punishment. Discipline is not rigidity, it is predictability. Predictability lowers stress. When expectations are clear, execution is smoother. Smooth execution requires less effort. Less effort feels lighter. Burnout is often framed as emotional exhaustion. Emotion is not the primary variable. Load distribution is. When load shifts constantly, tolerance drops. Dropping tolerance feels like exhaustion. The label fits the feeling. The cause remains misidentified. Burnout is the symptom. Undisciplined is the condition. Treating the symptom provides temporary relief. The condition persists. As long as the condition persists, fatigue returns. The misunderstanding survives because it is comforting. It preserves self-image. Correction requires discomfort. Discomfort is avoided, so the misunderstanding remains, and the cycle continues.
The system responds to structure, not effort, not emotion. Structure defines load. Load determines sustainability. When structure is weak, load shifts constantly. Shifting load increases friction. Friction consumes energy. Undisciplined introduces variability. Variability forces adjustment. Adjustment requires attention. Attention is finite. When attention is depleted, execution slows. Slowed execution increases pressure. Pressure amplifies fatigue. This sequence is mechanical. Discipline works by fixing variables. Time is fixed. Standards are fixed. Minimum output is fixed. With fixed variables, the system stabilizes. Stability reduces cognitive demand. Reduced demand preserves energy. The system no longer evaluates each action. Evaluation is expensive. Without discipline, every task is reconsidered. Reconsideration multiplies decisions. Decisions accumulate. Accumulated decisions exhaust capacity. This exhaustion is misinterpreted as burnout. In a disciplined system, decisions are front-loaded. They are made once, then enforced. Enforcement requires less energy than deliberation. Another mechanism operates simultaneously. Discipline creates predictable recovery. Recovery is not random, it is scheduled. When recovery is predictable, stress decreases. Uncertainty is removed. Uncertainty magnifies load. Most fatigue is not caused by work, it is caused by unpredictability. Discipline removes unpredictability. The system also regulates pacing. Undisciplined effort oscillates. High intensity is followed by collapse. Collapse requires restart. Restart consumes energy. Discipline prevents collapse by limiting peaks. Peaks are costly. Moderate, repeated output is cheaper. Cheaper output is sustainable. The system also reallocates effort. Without discipline, energy is spent deciding what to do. With discipline, energy is spent doing. Doing produces output. Deciding produces fatigue. This distinction matters. Over time, the system adapts. Tolerance increases, resistance decreases. Tasks feel lighter not because they changed, but because the system stopped fighting itself. This reduction in internal conflict is significant. Burnout narratives focus on workload reduction. The system focuses on conflict reduction. Conflict drains capacity. Alignment preserves it. Discipline aligns behavior with structure. When alignment is present, energy stabilizes. Stabilized energy does not feel exciting. It feels controlled. Control is mistaken for suppression. It is not. It is efficiency. Efficiency reduces waste. Waste is what exhausts systems. When waste is removed, capacity returns, not through rest, through order. That is how the system actually works.
This requires ownership. You must stop attributing fatigue to workload. You must stop attributing inconsistency to circumstance. Those explanations delay correction. You must impose structure where it is missing. Not gradually, not emotionally, deliberately. You must define fixed start points, fixed end points, fixed minimum output. Minimums matter. Maximums are irrelevant. You must remove discretion from routine actions. Discretion invites negotiation. Negotiation drains energy. You must execute without checking how it feels. Feeling is unstable. You must maintain the same standards on low-energy days. High-energy days do not matter. Discipline is tested when capacity feels reduced. That is when it functions. You must stop compensating for inconsistency with intensity. Intensity hides disorder. It does not correct it. You must limit peaks. Peaks create collapse. You must accept controlled output. Controlled output feels restrained. Restraint preserves capacity. You must establish predictable recovery. Recovery cannot be reactive. It must be scheduled. You must stop using rest as permission to drift. Rest is not absence of structure. Rest is part of structure. You must stop reframing undiscipline as flexibility. Flexibility without limits is instability. Instability consumes energy. You must enforce boundaries on attention. Attention leakage accelerates fatigue. You must remove unnecessary decisions. Each decision carries cost. You must tolerate discomfort without labeling it burnout. Discomfort signals adjustment. You must continue while the system recalibrates. Recalibration takes time. You must resist early conclusions. Early conclusions interrupt adaptation. You must accept that discipline will feel restrictive. Restriction is intentional. It prevents chaos. Chaos is what exhausts you. Order is what restores capacity. That is what this requires from you. Over time, undiscipline produces predictable outcomes. Capacity declines. Tolerance narrows. Recovery slows. These changes are gradual. They are not dramatic. Because they are gradual, they are normalized. Irregular structure trains instability. Instability becomes familiar. Familiar instability feels manageable until it is not. As discipline remains absent,
Effort becomes reactive. Reaction replaces execution. Reaction consumes energy without producing alignment. Alignment deteriorates. When alignment deteriorates, even moderate demands feel heavy. The same workload now feels excessive. This is not increased work, it is reduced capacity. Reduced capacity forces compensation. Compensation increases intensity. Intensity accelerates collapse. Collapse is labeled burnout. The label delays correction. Over longer intervals, patterns harden. Inconsistent systems require frequent resets. Resets consume time and attention. Time fragmentation increases pressure. Pressure reduces patience. Reduced patience lowers standards. Lower standards increase disorder. The cycle reinforces itself. As the cycle continues, options narrow. Flexibility decreases. Opportunities require reliability. Reliability is absent. Performance becomes unpredictable. Unpredictability erodes trust. Trust erodes externally and internally. Internally, confidence weakens. Not emotional confidence, operational confidence. You stop trusting your ability to execute consistently. Execution becomes conditional. Conditions multiply. More conditions mean fewer completions. This further reduces capacity. The system adapts downward. What once felt manageable now feels exhausting. What once felt simple now feels complex. Nothing external changed. Structure did. Over extended periods, this divergence becomes visible. Disciplined systems stabilize and expand. Undisciplined systems contract and fatigue. The difference is not effort, it is configuration. Configuration determines sustainability. Without correction, the trajectory continues, not explosively, persistently. That persistence is the consequence.
You are not burned out. You are undisciplined. Burnout describes a feeling. Undisciplined describes a system. Systems determine load. Load determines fatigue. When structure is absent, effort becomes unstable. Instability exhausts capacity. This exhaustion is labeled burnout. The label feels accurate. The cause is misidentified. Discipline corrects configuration. It fixes variables. It narrows acceptable behavior. When behavior is narrowed, execution stabilizes. When execution stabilizes, pressure decreases. Nothing dramatic changes. There is no surge of energy, no emotional relief. The system simply stops wasting effort. Waste is what drains capacity. Order is what preserves it. Rest without order delays collapse. Order without rest sustains output. Burnout narratives focus on relief. Relief does not correct structure. Structure corrects load. When load is controlled, fatigue recedes, not immediately, reliably. This does not feel compassionate. It feels precise. Precision removes confusion. Confusion drains energy. Discipline is not punishment. It is containment. Containment prevents overload. Prevention is quiet. That quiet is misread as absence. It is not absence. It is stability. Stability restores capacity. That is the rule. Structure before recovery.